Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 mk2, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Tommy Tunis, maybe it's Tommy 2 NES if he likes the Nintendo Entertainment System. Not sure, he didn't put that in the message, but just taking a guess here. He writes in asking if there's a way to trigger a pattern or loop so that it will be in sync and on beat with an external source like Ableton Live. I have my setup here we got the MPC. Functionally, it will work the same, even though I know it's not Ableton Live, but it's the same idea, same types of settings, same types of problems. And let's go over the problem first, and then I'll start talking about what I have for settings, and we'll adjust a few things and kind of go from there. So first things first, I hit play, and this is just the MPC playing. We immediately see that the SP404 mk2 is playing. It's got the BP. You might be able to may not be able to see it from the screen, but they both have the same BPM. This side's EXT. It's pulling the BPM from the Akai MPC. And if I turn this up, it's in sync, and I can just switch to another pattern and it will stay in sync. The problem comes in is if I accidentally double tap this and stop it, and now it's in BPM sync, but this is now ahead or behind. It's got some latency. It starts immediately as soon as I start hitting the pad, and it can be hard to time it right. Like, I'm pretty close there, but it's still a little bit off. It's lagging behind. So basically the problem is that there's not really any way to tell the SP404 mk2 to start or restart a sync and quantize to the sequence patterns and everything. It's just going to start. It'll do that initially when you start it, but if you accidentally stop a pattern and restart it, you're kind of hosed, for lack of a better word. So let's just really quick, let's get into the settings just to see how things are set up and what's going on. So on the SP404 mk2, if I go into system and MIDI, I've got MIDI sync. Right now I'm synced to MIDI. That's just because it's coming in through the MIDI ports on the back. I've got MIDI sync out off. I don't want to create any MIDI loop where it's sending sync data to the MPC and then the MPC is sending it over. That's creates a ton of problems. I've got actually sequence notes out off because I don't want the patterns that are playing on the SP404 mk2 to be sending pattern data back to the MPC, because we'll start getting double triggers and all kinds of other fun stuff where it's triggering the sound on the SP404 mk2 and on the MPC. And I've got pad note out off as well, just so that we only are sending the audio and not anything else. I don't think there's anything else super fancy here. Over on the MPC, I've got sync off because I don't want it syncing to the SP404 mk2. And if I go to preferences, the other thing that's important here is I have output ports. The SP404 mk2 is on the Mio XL DIN 2. I've got sync on and track on. I don't know that I necessarily need track, but the sync allows it to send transport control information from the SP404 mk2 over to the SP404 the Akai MPC Live 2 to the SP404 mk2. Sorry. Anyway, with that said, with those settings, that's how I've got things set to sync. So basically, if I hit play on the MPC, it will start the SP404 mk2 to get a couple things going. I also created this track 17, and basically the MIDI channel is going to map bank A to MIDI channel 1 through bank J being MIDI channel 10. So you just want to set your MIDI channel there, and then whatever you have for your program change, when you send a program change over, it will select based on value, I think 0 through 15 will match to pattern. Well, I'm going to get out of here. It'll then match to pattern 1 through 16. So 0 program change is a pattern 1. Anyway, with that set, I could basically, anytime I hit play, it's going to, right now I have the count in, but it's going to start both at the same time, which is what I want. And again, the problem comes in if I hit stop. Well, stop over here doesn't do anything super fancy, but stop both of them. But you can see I can hit play and it's not starting. I just need to go to the metronome. Personally, I would say if you're going to be doing this or you're worried about a live situation where you accidentally stop something, go to your count in on whatever system you're on, whether it's the MPC, Ableton Live, turn count in off. That will be the first important thing for a setting to do. And then with that, now I can hit this and it will just start playing immediately. So a thing to keep in mind, it takes a second for the SP404 Mark II to catch up with tempo. I'll turn this down for a second. So knowing that it's going to take like a second for the two to kind of sync tempo correctly, what you'll see a lot of performers do is they'll create, like on the MPC or on Ableton Live, you'll create a blank like 1 or 2 bar sequence that has like nothing in it. So it just sends the MIDI BPM and clock information and transport controls over to the whatever external devices you have. Just gives it a second or two for them to all kind of get caught up and settle down and match time. And again, you'll see here, like I can still change patterns on the SP404 Mark II, and these are all 1 bars. They'll stay in sync, and it's not a big deal or anything. It just works fine. The problem will be, again, if I hit this and stop the pattern, if you want to make sure that they're going to get back into sync, personally, I would say the best thing to do would be just use your main transport control on whatever device is your master for sending sync. And then when it's the right time and appropriate, just hit the play button again. Not sure why it didn't start. Oh, right. Let me stop for a second. The other important thing is you want to make sure that whatever it is you've got set, if you hold enter down, you can basically select the pattern and tell it to start so that when you're stopped, you just have to hold enter and push whatever it is you want to do. In this case, because we're sending program change values out, it's going to potentially cause you some problems. So I've got program change off now, and we can see that this is working, I think, a bit better. If it's giving you some headache though, just hold down enter so you can select the next one. You won't trigger it to start playing on the SP404 Mark II while you're trying to get things set up. But given this, if we stop, hit enter, select the pad that you want to play, and then when you want it to trigger, just hit it. You might have like a second or two where it's getting a little hung up and having a problem going, but otherwise should work fine. Anyway, I hope that helps you guys out. Thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.